Welcome, everyone, to Wampum, Pennsylvania and Pitt Race, Pittsburgh International Race Complex. It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA/FIM North American Road Race Championship, round 8 of 10 for 2018. I'm Greg White. Sitting alongside me is Jason Pridmore, and we are at the MotoAmerica Championship of Pittsburgh, getting ready for the Liqui Moly Junior Cup race. Jason, how you feeling today, dude?
Great, a little bit better. Yeah, I've been a little bit sick, like as you know, and it's going to be good. We're going to have a good day, I think. I think yesterday it rained pretty good, and then this morning it was raining a little when we came in, and so some of the warm-ups have been a little bit different for these guys if they wanted to make any changes on these little 300s. And also, Greg, tire allocation is a big thing when it comes to this, because you're only allowed so many tires in a weekend. So if you choose to throw a new set of reins on, that's actually going to get a sticker on it, and so it kind of limits things. So the warm-ups this morning were kind of strange amongst all the classes.
Let's take a look at this beautiful racetrack here, just about 35 miles away from the Steel City. 2.78 miles and a whole heap of turns. Jason, take us for a lap.
Well, it's got a bunch of turns and it's got a bunch of elevation. Two things that we like as motorcycle riders for sure. Up over the top of turn 1. Wide open turn 2 up over the top of a crest to turn 3, 4, 5. This is what you're looking at on your screen right now in our foreground there. Turn 4 coming down to 5 and 6 up this big steep hill. Then you get to a series of S's, 7, 8, 9, 10. All a nice flowing group of S's. Great spectator areas too for people to watch. 12, 13, and then turn 14. Probably one of the hardest corners that we see on our calendar, into a fast, wide open turn 15, into a chicane that MotoAmerica and Pitt Race designed specifically for us so that we can come race here, just to help increase our safety a little. Into turn 17 and then back up a hill towards the start-finish line that then goes back downhill. So tons of elevation, beautiful place. I mean, Pitt Race, every time second year we've come here, and you can see they've made some changes even from the previous year that we came.
Here's the grid. This is how they qualified last between Friday and Saturday. Alex Dumas sitting on pole. Yeah,
Alex, Ashton Yates, Corey Ventura there rounding out row 1. Those are going to be your players today with Toby Kamsick, Jackson Blackman. Got to see Toby get off the line a little better. We saw Renzo Ferreira also up in that lead group yesterday as well. Just a little further back, Kevin Almeida, Damian Jigalov. Now, everybody talked to us about his name and how to say it, Greg. Yep. I went straight to the source. I went to him and his dad. We're doing okay. Gage Reese, row 3. Mark Edwards, Hunter Dunham, and Dylan Deutschlander in row 4. Row 5, Dominic Doyle, Joseph Lacius, Jay Newton. Interested to see Jay so far back. Usually we see him up front too. Jamie Astadio, who ran through the pack yesterday. Drake Beecham, who we saw tip over. Sean Varsky had a chat with him this morning as well. Jarrett Nassani, Nate Minster, Cameron Jones on row 7. Back to row 8, Trevor Standish, Tyler Whistle, and Dallas Daniels. Had a little talk with Dallas this morning, Greg. Yesterday I made a little bit of a misstep. Ryan Deutschlander and Benjamin Ferris round out our field. Dallas has just come back from a major injury. He went testing in New Jersey and broke his forearm and his wrist and things, and so that's why he's so far back here. He said yesterday the red flag helped him. He was able to jump up into 17th spot, but that was the reason why he was so far back. It wasn't because he had dirt track duties somewhere else, like I said.
Extremely talented field of racers in the Liqui Moly Junior Cup. So far this season, 11 different competitors have been able to stand on the podium in one form or another, but only 3 race winners: Alex Dumas, Ashton Yates, and Corey Ventura. Did you have a chance to talk to Alex Dumas, Jason, about how that race finished yesterday? Because a couple of red flags in this race, and it was over early.
Well, Alex is one of those, he's always thinking about things. He's always being smart about certain stuff. And, always, once you get past half, 3/4 way past, you always want to be leading just in case that red flag comes out. As you can see the points here, Ashton's 39 back, Corey Ventura there 66 back. I talked to a couple of the guys yesterday about how the race was planning out, and they all kind of felt like it went the way they kind of thought it was going to go, the group that was up front. I think that there was a lot of learning. Yesterday during our telecast, you could see that some of the kids were doing some things different than the other. And so I think they wanted to really go out and try some stuff this morning, and they didn't really get a chance to because of the weather. So they're going to be kind of trying it during the race, so we'll see how it works out for a couple of these guys. I think the guys you got to think about too, the big one for me is Toby. Toby qualified 4th. He's been fast all weekend, and he didn't really play into our race at all yesterday. So I don't know if that's a bit of a racecraft thing. If it starts yesterday on the second start, he looked like he got a better start, but kind of fell back. You can see Toby there, number 27, but he's kind of been coming strong and showing that he's another kid that will be there to reckon with.
Well, we have a special guest joining us here on beIN Sports Connect, 2016 KTM RC Cup National Champion, which is now, of course, the Liqui Moly Junior Cup. Please welcome Brandon Paasch. What's up, Paasch?
Not much, just checking out the racing here this weekend at Pittsburgh.
Well, we're happy to have you here and add a little bit of flavor to this one. So we're getting ready to go racing as we get ready for the race number 2 from Pitt Race, the Liqui Moly Junior Cup race. And once those red lights go on and off, clutches are going to be out. And it's to that very interesting turn number 1. Ashton Yates with a good start.
Oh, and he missed a gear, Greg. He got a great launch and then missed a gear.
So it looks like it's going to be Alex Dumas. Yesterday, what we saw Alex do twice was try to get out to a jackrabbit start and put some distance between himself and the field, but then they were able to catch him. So what Alex is doing right now is pretty standard for the way Dumas likes to run it on fresh tires. So the 23, Alex Dumas out front early.
And this is where yesterday, Brandon, when we were watching this race, you can see Alex gets a little bit of a gap. Through the S's, though, when we get to turn 7 to 10, it looks like the little R3s work so well down there, down through 7 through 10, as you can see Ferreira make a move there on Damien. But Alex has got a bit of a great jump here. But watch how the R3s work through these S's. You know a lot of these guys. What do they kind of tell you about each bike?
I know that the R3, they're saying that it's not quite as fast as the KTM. And yeah, that doesn't look
turn
good.
3.
Yeah, we've got a few riders down. Looks like Tyler Whistle on the 30. So Tyler's down, and we're trying to see who the other rider is.
That's going to be a red flag.
Red flag early in this one.
That's going to Alex is going to look back there and be a little bit bummed out, isn't he?
Help Yates.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely going to help Aaron. So we kind of have seen this class evolve this year because with the World Super Sport 300 class, even overseas, Brandon, when you did it, it was all KTM 390s, and they've been playing with the rules a lot to try to sync things up a little bit between the KTM and the Cowie and the Yamaha. It seems like it's gotten a little bit closer at least.
Yeah, I know at the beginning of the year the Cowie's definitely had a big advantage, and it's definitely a lot closer now than it was, and starting to be some pretty good racing.
Yeah, for sure. Just tell us a little bit about some things since we got a little bit of time here. I know now you're over in England, and how's things been over there for you?
So far, so good. I mean, I'm learning a lot, just getting better every weekend. Currently racing in the British Moto3 Championship and sitting 5th in the championship right now. But yeah, we're getting better and better, and we have a couple more races left, so see what we can do.
It's a big adjustment to move out of the world that you're used to and go over to England. How you like it?
It's a lot different, to be honest, like just being away from your family and everybody that you know, and basically just moving in with your team and just only focusing on racing, and like it's really different, but it's a learning experience for sure, and I'm loving it.
So Cameron Jones on Jones Power Sports, he's out of Ashland, Missouri. He's the rider that's down in this incident, and they're still working on him. So Brandon, talking about what you're doing racing this year, what have been some of the highlights that you've had?
At the first round of the year, actually, was one of my better races. We came out and qualified on the front row, then caught the lead group, got a bad start, caught the lead group, snapped the shifter, which they do it over there a little different, where the times that you set in the first race sets your grid position for the second race. And so I had pole position for the second race, got off the line, again, not the greatest, but finished the race in 3rd. That was my first podium of the year. And then from there, we've just been having little mishaps and stuff like that, just like the learning curve, just getting adjusted to it. And we've had another podium, which I wound up getting a 20-second penalty after the race for they said aggressive riding. So.
No.
Not you.
No.
Not you.
Were you racing against Mazziato?
No.
Oh, I see.
No, I think, and you talked about the differences between racing over here and over there. I think just in my experiences that I had overseas, it's funny how the team stuff is even different. All the teams stay at the track, and you say, that there's
nobody stays in a hotel.
Yeah.
They love the racing, and they want to be around it all day, every day.
Yep, and a lot of the people that get a chance to ride over there, that's a good sign there. A lot of people, a lot of the kids especially, they don't care where they sleep, where they stay, or where they do anything. Just probably like yourself, as long as you have a competitive bike underneath you.
Cameron Jones sitting up. That's the rider down on your screen if you're watching this right now. So Jones Power Sports Rider up. And so we're under red flag conditions for the Liqui Moly Junior Cup race number 2 currently. Jason Pridmore here. I'm Greg White, and we're talking to Brandon Paasch, who's the 2016 national champion here in the similar class that they had a little while ago. So Jason was talking about what's going on in England and how you're racing. Are you raising eyebrows over there with some of the results you've been able to get and the absolute raw speed you've been able to generate on that small motorcycle?
Yeah, it's definitely it's tough for sure. I'm quite big, and everybody here has been looking at me like, man, you got a lot bigger since the last time we saw you.
Tall.
Yeah, a lot taller.
Sure, a lot taller.
But it's been good.
So who are some of the kids you have an eye on over here? Like when I know you're probably keeping up on everything overseas and that kind of thing. You get a chance to watch the races?
Yeah,
a little bit?
I don't always get to watch the races, but I do follow the results, and I follow a lot of these kids on like social media, on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And Alex has been doing really well this year. I think he'll be one to watch out for, definitely in the future. And then Ashton Yates, he's doing pretty well as well, already on the 600, and he's doing decent in that too. Damien Jigalov looks pretty good as well.
No,
he's quite young.
And he's been around racing overseas in Italy and things. Damien has been. You get a good look at Sean, always smiling, as usual. Yeah, but you get Damien is definitely someone who I think we have to keep a big eye on. I've seen him since he was 12 years old, or maybe even younger. I think he was 11 when I saw him. And he's another kid. You can see they're working on Nate Minster's bike there as well. He was also the 3rd rider involved in that accident, I think, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think this class here is interesting to me because we had Renzo. He raced overseas last year, and he's come back.
Right.
And you can tell there's another sense of confidence as you see Damien on our screen now. But I think this class here, we have 5, 6, 7 people that have really stepped up this year. I really like Corey Ventura too.
He's riding really well.
He's one of my favorites. He's a good kid to start with, but then I like the way his work ethic is and how he just kind of gets on with things.
Mazziato helping out.
Is he on the grind down there? Has he got the wrenches in his hands?
He's preparing for next year.
Right. There's Cameron Jones, get loaded up there. Hopefully it's nothing too serious for him. But yeah, no, I think we got Renzo over here. Renzo came out and won a race in Utah. Pretty much came straight back out from coming over there. Do you know him very well?
Yeah, actually, he raced in the KTM Cup when I was in it.
Yep.
And we had some good races back then for sure. And he went out to the World Super Sport, and he rode all right. It looked like it was a pretty tough championship, though, to just jump into.
Yeah, first year out. I think you have to have some experience of getting used to winning and getting used to some things. Where would you like to be? Like, where do you see yourself going? Where is it you'd like to be?
I want to make it to Moto2 World Championship is the goal.
Yep.
I think that fits my riding style and my size, and that's definitely where I want to be. So.
Now, over there in England right now, the Super Sport class also includes Moto2 bikes. So I know there's a few guys that have proper Moto2 bikes that run with the 600 Super Sport. Is that something that you see growing over there, or is it something that is a little out of people's like purse strings, if you will, for like a national domestic series?
To be honest, I think next year that class will be a lot bigger.
Yep.
And I definitely have my eye on that class for sure. I think that would be a good step for me.
Yeah.
Next year with the World Championship changing over to Triumphs and stuff, there's going to be a lot of bikes up for sale. So teams in BSB are going to start getting like trickle-down bikes from Spanish Championship and from World Championship. So I think it'll definitely be a bigger grid next year, because this year there's only like 5 bikes.
There's only like a few, and there's really only a couple quality by the looks of it, right?
And the front 2, Kyle Ride and Josh Owens, they're riding really well.
Yep.
So
I recognize that they're usually one of them ahead of the 600 Super Sport guys, and we know Jack Kennedy, obviously James is over there with Spoli, and Ben Curry's over there.
Yep.
It's a pretty competitive championship over there as well. What about getting back over here if things were to open up and if you could get something going over here in America? Is that something that interests you to get back? Or?
Yeah, I would be open to it. I mean, any racing's good racing. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to come out here and at least do some wild cards and just get back on the tracks and get back with the.
Well, you know, Roger Hayden's retiring, man. You call Don Sakakura over there at Yosh and try to throw your name in the hat, or what?
I heard there was going to be an opening over there on the Superbike, so.
He's going for it?
Yeah.
We saw a picture there just now of Alex Dumas sitting in his pits, and he's probably not going to want to watch this start from the first time. Ashton got just kind of shuffled back after missing that gear, and Alex had his head down and got off to a pretty good jump here, and had himself probably a good second lead by the time our little incident in turn 3 happened. In turn 3, now Brandon, you never got a chance to, you never raced here.
I raced here last year on the TSER 6.
That's exactly right. I knew that you'd been here, but I just couldn't remember. Here you go. This was kind of looks like Nate Minster had his bike ended up on top of him. Whistle did his thing, and you can see Cameron Jones there. It looks like Cameron may have just hit his head because he looked like he was knocked out there. So hopefully, you saw they had him up and they put him on the stretcher and all that, but hopefully he's going to be all right.
What do you think about this road course compared to some of the places that you're now going to race in the VSB Championship?
I definitely like this one. It's a little bit different because the pavement's so new, and over in the UK, all the tarmac and stuff over there is all old.
Yep.
Really old. It's all original.
I talked to Josh Herron yesterday, and he said it reminds him a lot, and even in our pictures, reminds you a lot of PSB type of track. There's certain places where the track's narrow. When you go over there, good look at Toby Kampsuk. Hey, Tobe. The thing you think about is the tracks over there are so narrow.
Yeah.
Like I heard Cadwell Park is beyond narrow.
It's insanely narrow. You can barely fit 2 cars next to each other going around it. So I looked at the track the first time I went there for a track day, and I was looking down at the track from up on the hill, and I was like, man, pit lane's really narrow.
Yep.
And they were like, no, that's the track.
Oh my gosh. And what's the famous Cadwell leap like? What's it?
It's pretty cool. It's quite steep. It would have been a lot of fun on a 600 or 1,000. Because the Moto3 doesn't get much air.
Moto3 bike's having a hard time getting up that hill, I suppose.
Especially with me on.
Yeah. And then you go to tracks like Thruxton, and these are tracks that I've known about for years. I'd love to go ride. I've ridden Brands, but Thruxton is as wide as they come, isn't it? And
Thruxton is insane. That's one of the fast. That's probably the fastest track I've ever ridden in my life.
Really?
Like, it's crazy.
And it's bumpy too, I hear.
It's bumpy and really, really, really fast. Like there's corners 6 gear flat out on a Moto3 bike.
That's wild.
On the white line on the edge of the track. So, yeah, it's definitely it's a fun race for sure. And it's always a big group at the front.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be in. You're kind of getting close to you next 2 weeks in Jersey. Are you around? What's your plans from here? When do you go back?
Plan is to go home this week and just do some training, and I leave next Monday. I go back, and I have Silverstone the same weekend as NJMP, so unfortunately I'll be missing my home race again.
Yeah, that's too bad.
So as we are under red flag conditions, if you're just joining us, Greg White and Jason Pridmore up in the booth with 2016 KTM RC Cup MotoAmerica national champion Brandon Paasch, who's doing the British Superbike Series on a Moto3 bike, joining us, chatting it up a little bit while we fill some time here during this red flag, and we hope that everyone involved in the incident is okay. And we're going to have a 8-lap restart. So this race will be shortened to 8 laps, but the original grid position. So it'll be the same: Alex Dumas in pole, Ashton Yates in second, Corey Ventura in third. And so that's the way they're going to line up, but race shortened to 8.
How does that change your strategy when you plan for a race, Brandon, and then all of a sudden it gets cut down to 8 laps, especially with something like this that there's so much drafting and you know it's going to be close. You know that there's very, very difficult to get breaking away.
Yeah, this is one of them races where you just have to get out front and just put your head down and try to make a break. Just keep the pace really fast and just try and separate the group as much as you can, because 3 riders on the last lap's a lot better than 8. So
yeah,
just kind of need to go.
Where are you with your age? How old are you right now, and schooling and all that kind of stuff? How does that fit into your life?
Currently, I'm 17 and not currently going to school, but I'm doing my best to finish high school off. It's been really difficult with
international travel. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, it's been really hectic just trying to fit everything in. So.
How deep into the fall do we go with the British Superbike Series?
The last round is after Barber.
It's October, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it at Brands Hatch, usually the final?
Yep.
Would you get on one of these bikes now?
I'd love to. I'd love to go out there and have fun with these guys.
And I think, obviously with the rules being a bit different, we have more brands now. It would definitely be fun to see you out there in this or anything. I know you've ridden the 600 really well. When you've got on a 600, you've done well on that thing. Even over here, you did good on it. I think it's nice that you're involved in a series, because I know last year you were bouncing around a little bit. This year, just hearing you say, I'm 5th in the championship, it's nice that you're able to contend for a championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good to be in one full-time season right now, because last year I rode 5 different like series.
Yeah.
And 7 different bikes. So.
Because you went to Spain?
Yeah.
Didn't you? You went to Spain?
I
Did you go to Italy too? Or just Spain?
No, last year I just did Junior World Championship in Spain. I did British Superbikes Moto 3 and Stock 6. I did MotoAmerica Super Sport on 2 different bikes. So, yeah.
Junk man.
Yeah, we did a lot last year.
You know what though, Brandon, that's for being as young as you are, getting those experiences is going to pay off in the future for you, because at those kind of events you're going to get used to all different weather conditions, all the way different series are running, and you know, when you talk about being even the homeschooling side of it, being able to travel internationally, and you're such a social guy anyways. I think a lot of kids that get homeschooled, the social aspect of it goes away, and you're getting to grow up kind of around the world and see a lot of different things. I think it's not a bad way to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good. Like last year, for example, whenever I was riding a lot of different bikes and going to all these new tracks, and I'm learning so much every time I get to the track. I'm learning how to set a bike up quicker. I'm learning how to learn a track faster. Learning so much.
Yeah, but in addition to that, Brandon, talk about the importance of building personal relationships with, you know, team owners or people that make decisions, and, you know, all the way, you know, around the world. I mean, I think a lot of these racers, and if you're a young racer right now listening, how important it is to actually not just have race results, but also have a personal relationship.
I'd say that's honestly probably more important than race results in today's like paddocks for sure. Like you just need to. You always need to be chatting it up in the pits.
Benjamin Ferris, number 42, has crashed on this sighting lap. So we'll see if he's able to get that bike restarted. He was qualified in our 27th position.
And, you know, what you say there is so true, because a lot of people have managers and this and that, which is great. Right. But I think that as a rider, you still need to be able to let people see the personality that you have and see what kind of person you are.
Just like Josh Herron or James Rispoli, and you just need to be like outgoing. And talk to everyone and just have fun and show your personality.
Definitely something to be said for that, for sure. You know.
Yeah, like Jason Pridmore.
Yeah. Yeah. Get your goals a lot higher than that one. A lot higher.
He does have 4 championships to his name, you know, not including the Wira ones or the Suzuki Cup Challenge ones.
Yeah, you're still ahead of me.
Yeah, just barely. Just barely.
He's ahead of you in a lot of categories. So the bike's pulling up to the grid now, and this is going to be a quick start procedure. So there's 1 crew allowed, and this is just to make sure that riders understand where they are on the grid. So when they come around, next time they release the clutch, it'll be the warm-up lap. And then we'll get this thing gridded and gone.
Ashton has to be so stoked on that, huh? I mean, Ashton's got to be so happy he's going to get a second shot at this.
If I was in his shoes, I'd just be focusing on the start right now.
Yeah, I think, and really, he's gotten the bike off the line a lot better the last sort of 3-4 rounds that we've had. The beginning of the year, it was so hard. And when you go to some of those places where there's a long run to the first turn,
like Road America,
even Road Atlanta. Honestly, he didn't get great starts, but we saw him not get off the line very well at Utah. But he was able to draft his way to second place by the time he got to turn 1, because it was so long.
Right.
So,
and a lot of factors though are involved with that, because the motorcycle has changed quite a bit since the beginning of the season, as the MotoAmerica started to adjust those rules as well. You know, with RPM changes, weight changes, those types of things, it was changing the gearing and how it was.
I was hearing that it was making the gearing so they would have to run really long gearing on the Kawasaki, and they weren't able to get the bike off the line.
That's right. No, that's exactly right.
Yeah, so it's just been a learning year for everyone, I guess.
And basically what they've done is they've limited the RPMs. So KTM and the Kawasaki, number 26, what? Oh my God, what's going on there? Chain snapped. Yeah, Mark Edwards has had a bad weekend for Mark.
Yeah.
So that chain just snapped and got locked up into the rear wheel. I'm sure they've pushed him off over to the right-hand side, it looks like, of the grid.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage back there in the swing arm region of that motorcycle. So the Monkey Moto AGV Sport Rider is out of this one. Warm-up lap. When they come around, we're going to grid it up. We're going to get this thing underway. Race shortened from 10 now to 8 laps. The Liqui Moly Junior Cup, race number 2, the championship of Pittsburgh here in Pitt Race. Short drive away from Steel City, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In the beautiful rolling hills of western PA. Not too far down the street, state of Ohio, where we used to race some years ago. So this fills us in a nice spot for fans that used to attend those races to come on out and check out MotoAmerica race action, Liqui Moly Junior Cup, Super Sport, and Superbike.
Track's so smooth too, isn't it, Brandon? I mean, like the track is so nice and easy, no real bumps or anything.
Yeah, no, the pavement's definitely really nice around here. I was talking to, I think it was the owner, and he was saying that the car lap times, the lap record in the rain is only 1 second off the lap record in the dry.
Is that right?
So
no kidding.
Apparently there's a lot of grip here in the wet.
That is
a lot of grip.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. And again, though, with the surface here, is it's now 2 years old. For us, it's kind of caught in between. I was having a conversation with the folks at Dunlop, and they were talking like this is a transition year. Haven't been able to bring the soft tire, what we call the 0097 tire, which is kind of the standard for superbikes now. Haven't been able to bring it because it still shreds, but next year they expect it to be perfect, and for the next few years. Liqui Moly Junior Cup race number 2 time. The restart, and we're underway. And Ashton Yates, initial launch, much better.
Well, he got that gear. You could almost see he was focusing so much on making sure he went from first to second or third very, very deliberately, and he did. He was good. Now, Ashton's he's so big that even down the straightaway the other day, I saw him get in the draft of Corey Ventura here just the other day, and he kind of sits there until the last possible minute and then pops out to do the braking.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Yep. You just have to wait.
Yep. And I really rate Corey Ventura. Where's he at on your list of guys in this class?
I think he's a really good rider. He looks like he's learning a lot. Every weekend he looks like he's getting better. And I know he's been the best, not the best, but he's been putting the R3 towards the front recently. So.
Well, in the championship, you're right. In terms of R3s, he's third in the championship. So it's actually Dumas leading the way in a KTM in the championship and Ashton Yates on the Cowie. So in terms of point scoring position, it has been Corey Ventura in the championship, the best of our R3s. Yeah.
Good start from Jackson Blackman here since we're talking about R3s. Good to see him there. Renzo Ferreira right behind him. Damien didn't get quite the start that he got in the first leg where he was in second right off the bat. You see that little gap from 5th to 6th. I don't think that's going to take much for him to close that back up.
I think by the end of this next lap, Damien will
be right on the top for sure. And he's literally one of the smallest on the grid.
He's quite small.
Yeah, he's tiny. He is really, really tiny.
Like I mentioned, as Dumas was last year, and much like B. Paasch here, Dumas had a little growth spurt in between last season and this season. He got a lot taller. All right, look at them fanning out 5 wide, all heading into the chicane. Dumas going to lead it.
Renzo jumps up to 4th, just gets past Jackson there. It's a really, really tight area to try to pass. Going in. That's a big committed pass, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tight chicane down there, and you're going pretty quick into it.
So as we go to complete lap number 1 of 8 in this KTM, or this Liqui Moly Junior Cup race. It's a KTM leading the way across the line. There comes that Ashton Yates. He's going to make the draft and pass. Nope, it's not going to stick. Looked like for a moment he had him.
Did.
When they came across the stripe, though, it was Ventura who actually, and we look at that a lot, it's a very interesting front straightaway. It goes up and down, but our timing and scoring shows us who comes across the line first. Look at this.
Renzo gets in there.
Renzo up the inside. He'll take over second spot for the moment.
Damien's on the back of the group now.
Yep, you're exactly right. You said he'd be there in another half lap. I think, too, when these guys are fanning out and spreading out 3rd, 4th, 5th, it will help him so much. Yeah. He'll probably be able to do something with Jackson before they get down to these S's. Let's have a look. He's a little far back. So Jackson got up
Renzo's going to make a move.
Yeah.
So Renzo, the 31, goes underneath Alex Dumas. So Renzo out of Brazil on the quarterly racing, the Ninja 400, number 31, will take over the lead for the moment. Dumas right in the mix. You have Corey Ventura as number 64. Ashton Yates, number 22. 18, Jackson Blackman. 78, Damien Jigalov.
Kevin Almeida's on the back of that group with Toby, too.
Exactly. So you're talking 8 riders.
8 guys all up in this lead group right now. Renzo, he ran a really good race this year earlier, Brandon, in Utah for the quarterly racing group.
Yeah, that was good. He came out in his first race and won.
He just won right off the bat. So that had to do a lot for his confidence. I don't know if he's got to see this place. He wasn't racing with us here last year.
I don't think he's been here before. I think this is his first time here. He's riding really well.
So every lap around is going to help him. And when you see a guy like him get to the front like this, it has a way of separating the field as well.
Yeah. he's put the pace up. I mean, I don't know what they're doing.
Let's have a look. We're going to look. This is their 57.8. So, you know, they qualified at a 56.7, I believe. Alex is now taking the spot back. This is kind of Ashton's, I think his biggest problem is that last year when we watched the KTM 390 race with Benjamin here, he was fast, but he was big. And so he kept on getting shuffled back down these straightaways, and you could never get to that lead spot and run where he actually wants to run, like the line he would choose.
Yeah, it's difficult being big, especially on a track like this where there's a lot of straightaways and it's just overall a fast track.
Yep.
So Ashton would definitely, this would be a track where he's going to struggle a little bit.
You can see even coming down in like turn 6 area there, Alex is a lot more direct line to the spot. The other guys kind of open it up a little bit. Yep.
So the top three starting to pull away ever so slightly from the 64. Corey Ventura on the MP13 Yamaha R3.
This is where he's so good though, Greg, through these S's. Corey is so good. He'll get right up on the back of them all the way through this little S section for sure.
KTM, a couple of Kawasaki's and a couple of Yamahas. It looks like Renzo Ferrer just had a notion for a second to try to make a move on Alex Dumas. So much going on around. This is Brandon Paasch. You know, when you're in this particular race situation, you're trying to think, what move am I going to make? Do you have to think about what's going on behind you as well, or just try to keep all your focus up front?
I try to keep all my focus up front, but normally I'd be sitting right about where Ashton is, just taking it all in, learning what the front guys are doing, and just wait until the last couple of laps and start making moves and get to the front.
I got to think though, like being a little bit bigger, for Ashton, the race has to be before the chicane. Like if he can get into the chicane first, that said, it's pretty easy for him to get drafted down the front straight. Would you choose to wait and try to do something with them in turn 14, or would you try to do something with them before the chicane?
That's a difficult one because, like you said, he can definitely get drafted to the line, but I don't think that he can draft him to the line. So I think it's going to be one of them where he has to kind of take the chance and just try and lead it out of the last corner and just hope he gets a bit of a gap.
Yeah. There's Renzo going up underneath Alex now as they head down to turn 3. We haven't really seen anybody lead Alex through this section, so it would be really interesting to see if one of these guys can get in front of him and lead him all down through this little area.
Alex has been really fast through here all weekend.
Dumas was threatened for a moment about being passed. Didn't have as much brake pressure, as now riders starting to take a look over their shoulder and just kind of see where things are at the halfway point of this one coming up. 5 laps remain in this one. Lead group is now about 5 or 6 riders. Yeah, 5. So it's Alex Dumas, Renzo Ferrer, Ashton Yates, Corey Ventura, and Jackson Blackman. And any one of these riders could win this race. No question about it. I think, you know, looking down the list, Jackson Blackman was able to get off the schneid, meaning he finally got his first podium of the season just 3 races ago in Sonoma, race number 1. And that was a big move for Jackson, gave him a lot more confidence. And you know, the thing is, Brandon, is that in looking at this program, although Corey Ventura and Jackson Blackman ride for different teams, they're actually teammates in the big mix of the Graves support program. I talked to Chuck Graves about his program and the ability of 11 riders, not 9, I said yesterday. There's 11 riders in the pool, and they meet every day. And they all talk about gearing and suspension, and they all bounce ideas off of each other. It's quite a tremendous program, even though different team owners, Graves supporting up to 13. There were just 2 that didn't make it this weekend.
No, that's great. And I think having Chuck involved with all these kids, the amount of knowledge he has, and he's ran a great program for so many years on the bigger bikes. And so with Yamaha coming out with the R3, I think it's been good. One of the things I noticed too when I watch these is if you look at how Alex fits on the KTM, you can't see his shoulders, you can't see anything.
Just tucking well.
Yeah, now look at he's going to have to follow these guys down through. Ashton Yates takes the lead as they head up into turn 3. And this is what I was curious about. See how Ashton, he's got so much mid-corner speed. I mean, you know, I say it over and over. He rides just like his dad used to ride. He's a big guy. He takes advantage of his size a lot. Let's see if these 2 guys can break away at all now.
Ashton carries a lot of roll speed through the corners. A lot. See, he just made a gap through there a little bit, but I think they're going to suck him up on the straightaway.
Yeah, but now he's going to get to go through this S's by himself, you know, in the sense that there's nobody in front of him now. So we're going to see it. This is where Alex has been a little bit on the weaker side this weekend, is the second sector. And and we'll see now.
I was curious to see how Ashton would do leading through here because it's kind of suits his style where like he has to carry a lot of corner speed and that's a section where you really need to be on it.
Renzo going right with him, and you can see just the pace of these two guys at the front, how it's starting to split that group up, right?
Splitting it up even more.
Yep, absolutely right. And it's going to be everything. Now, the one spot that I know Alex has been pretty solid at is in the chicane this weekend. He's been good like through it from the second half of the chicane and driving out of there. So see if he can get a little closer to these guys before they head down that front straight.
I think now it's going to start coming down to
Oh! Big mistake from Ashton. And down he goes.
Yep, that's
so
a big
Ashton
mistake.
Yates out of the chicane.
Wow.
Up and off the motorcycle, able to get it stopped in the grass. It's on its side. So Ashton now, hopefully all the bars and everything. So Yates out of this one in contention for the lead.
Oh, man. And I think Ashton, that's him pushing.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Brandon?
That was the time where he basically told himself, all right, we need to make a break now. And he was doing it.
Yep, he was
trying.
definitely doing it. Absolutely.
Alex Dumas back up to the front after a pass on Renzo Ferreira. As we take a look at Ashton Yates trying to get that motorcycle started. For Ashton, this race is going to be over for him in terms of point scoring. Even if he can get it going with 3 laps to go, we only pay back the 15th spot. That's also going to ding his position in the championship.
There he goes.
As coming into this, he was only 39 points behind Dumas.
A lot of mud there. Go ahead, Greg, with this one. You saw it like right off the bat.
I did. You could just see him coming through. Watch the rear end. As he transitions over, he just got off the inside of the grass.
Yep, got into the mud. Just got into the mud, got into the grass, and that was it. And now he's just in a spot where
the grass was wet from this morning.
Yeah.
Correct, Brandon.
Last night.
And he knows he has to get off. And this is
He has to get off.
This is one of the good things that Pit Race did for us is making that chicane, because that's a 5th gear or 6th gear on these little bikes, wide open corner otherwise, and the amount of runoff that the track has available to it there, just basically because there's a big drop off behind that Armco. So
this is big in the championship, Jason, because if Alex Dumas can hold on to the position he has right now, that's going to be a 25-point advantage. So he's going to take it from 39 and just tack on 25 to that.
Yep.
Because the next person in line is Corey Ventura in the championship, who's 66 points adrift of Alex Dumas, and it doesn't look like Corey has got the speed at the moment. There's still 2 laps to go, and he's close.
He's still there, is Corey. I think the thing is if Renzo and Alex draft up down this front straightaway and then draft, see how quick Alex gets into his tuck too. I mean, it's immediate. Even Renzo was a little behind him in the tuck there, but Alex understands the importance of making sure to get the shoulders down, get it closer to the tank. But if these guys draft down this one and the next one, it'll be they'll probably open up a little bit of gap on those Yamahas behind them.
Pass for the lead again. The 31 takes over the spot. For the moment, it was an aggressive pass in turn number 1. They're going side by side, heading down into turn number 5 soon.
What do you see, Brandon?
Jackson's up in front of court, not for too long, but
yeah,
at least he's up there and battling for another podium.
We saw Jackson losing a little bit of gap there a little while ago, and now he's gained all that back. Yes,
they're on him now. It's 4-rider again.
Yeah, but these two guys are kind of messing with each other a little bit. Like when they get into the out-braking duels going down into the turns, that's the problem. You see Ashton here trying to figure out how to get that bike going again. I heard Aaron say like turn the key on and off.
Yeah. So Jackson Blackman, number 18 in 4th out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, on that Riders Law Yamaha R3. So all in contention now as Renzo Ferreira leads the way. So he's showing some speed right now, Jay.
He is. He's trying. He's trying to do exactly what Ashton did by breaking this group up again a little bit. I saw Alex's bike moving a little bit coming out of the S's there, the left out of the S's. I saw his bike move ever so slightly, but you can see Corey. As soon as Renzo gets to the front, or Ashton did, it starts to separate this group just a little bit. Jackson's still trying everything he can to stay in touch with these 3 guys in front of him. Jackson
Blackman, by the way, last time by the fastest lap of the race, a 56.9. Can't hold on to it as he's top 3. 57.1 for Dumas last time by, and he led that one. Corey Ventura with the fastest split through sector number 2. So he's on the move. White flag flies in this one. Alex Dumas can't make the move. So Renzo still leads the way from Alex and Corey.
I think Alex is going to be able to draft him here, and it's really going to be a matter now what Corey's plans are, because I believe Corey's really solid. Look, he's not going to be able to get by him. Renzo's bike really pulled up that hill nicely, and Corey's just still sitting right there waiting to see what happens. Corey's really good.
Down goes Renzo. Wow.
Oh, Renzo.
Oh, Renzo. What a race he was having. Our race winner from earlier on this year. The Brazilian is out of this one, more frustrated than anything else.
I'm glad to see him getting up
on this final lap.
Loses the front there. Now, this is where Corey's good. I think Corey, he's going to try something. Yep, I knew he wasn't going to sit there. Oh, man. See, I thought he might wait from between this right and left, because
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd try him on the brakes there. I thought he'd follow Alex into there, and then between that right and left, make a big move is what I was thinking was going to happen. And it looks like it's going to kind of get settled now between these two guys at the front.
I think he's either going to go for it into the chicane or the last corner.
Yeah, it's got to be the last corner move for Corey, if anywhere, I think. I think you're exactly right.
So here we go. It's down to these two at the moment. It's Alex Dumas out of Quebec, Canada on the KTM Orange Brigade JP43 training entry, and the MP13 Yamaha of Corey Ventura, both race winners before, working this final lap.
Yeah, Corey's really trying to draw up on the back of him to try to. Alex is good on the exit of this, and that makes it really hard. He's so good, keying on where to be on the gas in the middle of that turn.
Alex Dumas trying to keep it nice and tidy. He gets up into the middle of the bike, and now it's all about draft and pass. Dumas with the throttle to the stop, coming to the line, and it doesn't look like Ventura's got a lot of draft to work with. And no, Alex Dumas will take victory by 1/10 of a second over Corey Ventura and Jackson Blackman.
Here we go, the battle for fourth. Looks like it's going to be Kevin Almeida is going to beat out Toby Kampsuk for fourth place. Not sure what happened to Damien in this race. We didn't get to see him at all. Here you go, Jamie Astudillo comes from a long way back to end up
in sixth.
Yeah, sixth spot. Gage Reese
from 17th on the grid to sixth for Jamie.
Dunham, Nassani, and Dominic Doyle right out your top 10.
A lot of people going down at the end of that race.
Yeah, I see Renzo's going down our board, but we can see that Damien ended up 19th, and he was part of the group at the front. So maybe he must have made a mistake, probably 3 or 4 laps in, because I saw him in that next group for the longest time.
I was definitely expecting a little bit more out of Dominic Doyle and out of Sean Ngvarski this weekend.
Yeah, Sean struggled. Talked to him a little bit this morning, and he said he went quicker on last year's KTM than he did this year. And there were some things that he was talking about. And Toby even. I thought Toby would be in that lead group. I thought he would be there with those guys. So, but that's okay, because Toby's really started to come back a little bit this year as far as getting closer to the front.
And Jay Newton as well. I kind of expected Jay to be up with a front group. I don't know exactly what's going on with him this weekend. But
yep, and he's been up at the front of these races this year. In fact,
well this year.
As far as the R3 guys, he was really the first one that I noticed that was taking the fight to the KTMs and the Kawasaki's and so on.
What a points haul for Alex Dumas in this one. With the exit of Ashton Yates and the victory for the Canadian, he will add another 25 to his tally. Looks like it's going to be a 64-point lead for Alex Dumas over Ashton Yates.
There's Renzo.
2 races to go.
Renzo, yeah.
4 races.
100 points.
Still,
yeah, 100 points left. Yeah.
It's going to just lose the front here, it looks like, Brandon, huh?
Yeah. It's easy to do in that corner. Very easy to do.
And it looked like he was probably a foot or two off of the curbing and
just pushing.
And I think next to the curbing is a little bit more camber too. And you can see Alex almost got caught up in that as well.
That part of the track is very important to be online.
Yeah. But he was pushing. He was trying his best to try to break that little gap, and
That was a last lap, put in your best lap. And
yes.
He definitely went for it.
Yep, he did.
Win it or bin it, as they say in the UK. Yeah, that whole thing was rhyming. Pretty good. So for Corey Ventura, I think that's Renzo picked him up on the Uber app. And so Corey stopped by, picked him up. Second place for Corey. So he will add another podium appearance to his Palmares. So that will take him to 5 on the year, as Ventura has a win. And that's his second place finish and 2/3 so far this championship season. So
Hey,
Ventura
Greg,
definitely coming on strong here.
What's the gap
end of
between
season.
Yates and Corey Ventura now in the championship?
Let's see, the gap between Yates and Corey Ventura, really? Okay, let me do some math. So it's 20 points, so that should be pretty easy. So it looks like it should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 7. I'm going to guess, and I'm going to say I think it's going to be a 7-point difference between Yates and Corey Ventura, as Ventura now is working his way in an opportunity to possibly leapfrog Yates in the next couple of races. 64 points is a huge deficit in a championship with only 100 points available left in the season.
I know how that is.
It's not impossible. Oh, you do you? Tell us about that. So Alex Dumas comes in. Parc Ferme, he's going to winner's circle. He'll enjoy another chance at the top step of the podium for Alex Dumas, his 8th win of the season in 13 races we've had so far this year. That's a pretty good win ratio.
Yeah, he's done really well, and I know how hard Uli and Chris Fillmore and the guys and his father and everybody else work on that team to try to get him the best thing that he can have. So, you know, I know how hard they work.
2nd win in a row, so Dumas trying to start another win streak. He had 3 in a row earlier on in the season, then he had a DNF and then another couple. And then a very uncharacteristic Brandon. I mean, you know, you look at the results of Alex Dumas at the beginning of the year. It was win, didn't start. Win, 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 DNF, win, win. And we thought, oh, is this the way the season's going to go? You know, it was pretty crazy.
For a while there, he was either winning or not finishing, or not starting.
And then we got to that 2nd race in Utah, and he finished 3rd, which is a lot of people would be happy with that.
Yeah.
Should have seen the look on his face.
He was not a happy guy.
Happy guy. Here's the margin of victory. So for Corey Ventura, he'll finish 1/10 of a second behind the Canadian. Jackson Blackman in 3rd. Kevin Almeida in 4th spot. Almeida, a good result for him, but they'll be looking at that gap back as he had a great battle with Toby Kamsick. Jamie Astudillo in 6th, Gage Reese, Hunter Dunham, and Jarrett Desaney.
Those guys are going to want to close that gap up by Jersey. It's a 10-second gap, right? I mean, it'd be good to see those guys close that up. Dominic Doyle, Joseph Blasius, Jay Newton, Dallas Daniels came all the way from the back row to Dallas, our second to last row. Sean Avarsky and Nate Minster. Good to see Nate get back out there on the TSC bike. I know they fixed it during that red flag, so they got him back out there and got him looked like a top 15.
All right, so here's confirmation of the championship, and indeed my math was right, which is very unusual. There is 64 points now, the lead for Alex Dumas, as he has collected 236 so far this season.
Greg,
Ashton Yates with 172.
You don't give yourself enough credit.
Corey Ventura, yeah. Corey Ventura now 71 points behind Alex Dumas. So that is going to be, that's 7? Yeah, that's a 7-point difference, right? Isn't that what I said before?
It is.
No calculator at all. Yay, public school. Jay Newton, Sean Ambarsky, Jackson Blackman, Gavin Anthony, Jamie Astudillo in 8th, and Gage Reese.